All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected and all the viewers are smarter than the average bear. Indeed, contemplative pragmatist. All so much going on. Hi, all. So much going on. So much going on. Indeed. We're going to talk about. We are going to talk about the avian flu and the cows. Talk about other things. The usual, typical planet falling into disrepair. We're also going to talk about the fact. I'm going to show you several examples of all of the politicians in the United States having their blackmail file pulled by Mossad. Right? Israel is literally saying to every politician in the United States, right? Like everybody, Trump, everyone. They're like, shut this shit down. Or we're going to start releasing photos. And everybody's like, okay, what do we got to do? Right? They are just jumping over themselves to try and like criminalize, smear, just all out lie about everything that's going on with the protests in the country. I mean, they're just, you know, they look like little kids racing for the last ice cream cone. They're just like, oh no, I'll do it. No, let's go. Strong. The blackmail files are strong, right? They do get lots of money from Israel. I mean, I guess that could be strong enough too to just say they're going to withhold any more funding, but I think it's for some of them, you know, Trump and some other people, I feel like, I mean, they know who the master is. The master is the one with the blackmail files. The master is the one with the photographs. And Israel is a master at that, right? Isn't that what Epstein was all about? So I don't know. I'm sure there's several ways to influence the politicians, right? So withholding funds, blackmail files, and outright threats of violence, right? They're leaning on people, right? Which is probably what happened to Bernie Sanders, I'm sure. I actually don't think, I don't know if Bernie Sanders was controlled from the get go. I think more possibly he was authentic, and then a couple of guys came to see him and said, "This is what's going to happen if you don't act right." Mafia tactics. Yes, Osama. MAGA conservatives voiced outrage at congressional Republicans voting for the Anti Semitism Awareness Act over concerns it would make the Bible illegal. Yeah, I mean, the Jews did kill Jesus. So what are you going to, oh my God. And that's basically what this bill basically says, don't you ever, ever, ever say anything bad about the German people or Hitler. Don't you ever say anything bad about German people or Hitler, or any of the leaders of the Nazi Party. Don't you ever say anything offensive, bad, Don't you ever criticize, act untoward, protest, denounce? Don't you ever say anything bad about Germans, Hitler, Goebbels, any of the other people, Himmler? Because if you do, well, that's called hate speech, and there's places where we can put you for that. Obsolete Optics says, technically it wasn't the Jews who crucified Jesus. It was the Romans at the behest of the Jews. The Romans, clearly they had a blackmail file. The Roman Senate was controlled by AIPAC. Or is it the what's his face? I love that my viewership is just going down because I'm talking about this. I love it. I think there's more people watching, but it's telling me that fewer people are watching. Nobody's watching you on Twitter. Okay. We're going to keep talking about this, which is absolute bullshit, right? We're going to keep talking about this because this is the truth. Yes, Pontius Pilate. They had the blackmail files on Pontius and everyone else. The truth says they put Hitler into power and funded World War II. Where's the lie? Yeah, I mean, this bill is wild because it's like you can't question what happened in World War II. You can't what is it? You can't disparage the story of World War II and what Hitler did. I mean, it is wild. It is wild. Oops. Here, okay, let's well, okay. We'll come back to this, okay? But good convo so far. Hey, if you're watching, we're live on Rockfin, YouTube, Twitter. And we're talking about stuff that's important stuff to talk about. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing. Some people have issues with that. That's all right. That's fine. And that's fine. Oh, did we lose Tim Bob? Oh. Anyways, we're talking about things that are happening in the world, things that need to be discussed, stuff that needs to be talked about. If you're watching on Twitter, please, by all means, so on Twitter, they're telling me that nobody's watching. On StreamYard, they're telling me a few people are watching. If you're watching on Twitter, please retweet, like, etc., etc. It's a comment. For crying out loud, hit the title panel in the video, and it'll bring up a screen which allows you to chat on the right-hand side. Say hello. I'm watching you on Twitter. Do me that favor. Thank you. Yeah, so real quick, we're going to go through some. It's wild. It's wild what's happening. It is absolutely wild what's happening. And if you want, there was a point I guess we're talking about this, but there was a point at a protest yesterday in Alabama where the pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli protesters were both shouting or chanting "fuck Biden." Bats. If you want to know how unpopular Biden is, how absolutely ruinous this administration is, how absolutely, you know, there is absolutely no chance for Biden to win. So if they tell you that he beat, anybody else, even RFK or Jill Stein, I would question that election result. And you're allowed to question election results, by the way. It's not treasonous, MAGA, crazy conspiracy theorist, kook tard, Russia influence. It's not any of those things, because all of those things are narcissistic abuse tactics used by the state in order to, pummel people's psyche down, people who are asking legitimate questions. So you think so? Oceanic Estate says they will stop the elections. I mean, anything can happen, right? You have Trump riding a wave, but I don't even think Trump's that popular, because Trump keeps saying, Trump is out there going like, hey, we got to slam these protesters to the ground. And, and I'm sure there are a lot of, they just passed this bill, which Trump supports, the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, which Trump supports. And his supporters are like, nah. I don't think Biden or Trump have 10% of the electorate, personally. Neither one of them have shit to run on, but they're going to try and run them as the front runners, which is amazing to me. If Biden wins, I will be awestruck, and I think that wouldn't be a good thing. That would be like passing an Anti-Semitism Awareness Act when everybody's clearly upset about what Hitler is doing and Germany is doing in Europe. It's crazy. People are really upset about what Hitler and Germany are doing in Europe, and they're literally passing a bill saying Hitler is our greatest ally and our greatest friend, and if you ever say anything about Hitler, woe be unto you. It's the gulag for you. Friends and neighbors. Contemplative says the fact that these are our choice says it. Oh, yes. Gigabane says, redacted said Soros is paying people $7.5K to protest for weird stuff like BLM and the Gaza protest, even though he is the other side. Yeah, I've seen a couple things from Redacted that make me think that that channel is not a channel I really want to listen to. That's some bullshit. I'm sorry. If you're like, this is totally organized by George Soros. Just like, okay, you might think, again, to go back to the George Floyd BLM protests, there was a lot of co-option and messing around in there, but people's feelings were legitimate. I mean, people's feelings were, the movement, the protests were absolutely, positively, 100% authentic and legitimate as far as how people felt. People really feel strongly about this, right? It was a flashpoint. It was something that had been building for years, and COVID be damned. We're pissed about this, and we're going to get out in the streets. Now, you could say that certain things were, some things were, there was some pushing of public perception a little bit, but people didn't, people weren't paying people to go out, and I mean, they were doing weird stuff like leaving bricks out, sure, but people were not like paying people to get out in the streets and protest. No, bullshit. But Redacted Tonight is a different show than Redacted Obsolete. Oh yeah, you know that. Sorry, I was trying to explain. I'm trying to explain something you already know. Yeah, Redacted. I just saw freaking what's his face? Why can't I think of his name? Boo on me. Derek Bros on Redacted talking about, doing the whole like they're gonna use the climate change to lock down the planet and all this kind of stuff. It was just, I mean, I don't know. Again, there's nuance to that discussion, but the way they presented it was like there is no climate change, or we shouldn't worry about what we're doing to the planet. And I was just like, where's the nuance in this discussion? It was just like super propagandist, and I was like, I don't want to hear that. That's just me, though. That's just me. Lee Camp is legit. I really like Lee Camp a lot. Man, Lee Camp is the truth. And Lee Camp is, they don't like Lee Camp, right? They took his showdown, and they really mess with Lee. You can tell who's on to something with the people that are getting really messed with. Anyways, well, we're here to talk about what's up, Rockfin people. How you doing? What up? Here are both sides of an Alabama protest shouting what everybody in the country seems to be feeling. Yeah, I love all of shows. Both sides. Both sides are like, nah. Somebody legitimately, somebody the other day said Joe Biden has to be the worst president ever. And I was like, it's gonna, George Bush was pretty bad. George W. was pretty bad. I mean, there's a long line of bad. There's, it's hard to say who's the worst. I remember back in the day when it was Jimmy Carter, people were saying Jimmy Carter was like not the worst president, but just the most ineffective. That seemed to be the knock on Jimmy Carter, that he was ineffective. Biden is pretty bad. Biden is pretty bad. Biden is real bad. I mean, and if it's, the people that are still like cheering for him or supporting him, I'm like, where are you alive? Hello, is anybody in there? Hello? This is Tom Cotton trying to do his best to jump for the ice cream, or at least not get his photo leaked onto the interwebs by the Mossad. So he's like, okay.
Across America, and the liberal college administrators and politicians who refuse to restore law and order and to protect other students. These little Gazas are disgusting cesspools of anti-Semitic hate, full of pro-Hamas sympathizers, fanatics, and freaks. The terrorist sympathizers in these little Gazas aren't peacefully protesting Israel's conduct of the war. They're violently and illegally demanding death for Israel, just like...
That is a freaking lie. He is straight up lying. They like called him. They called him. They're like, yo. Yeah, it's your turn, Tom. He was like, let's see what kind of stuff I could come up with. What kind of lies I can concoct. Let's just make it real big. These people are out there. They are, they are lizard people. They are aliens. They are, right? He's just saying whatever comes to his mind.
They're ideological twins, the Ayatollahs in Iran. We're here to discuss the little Gazas that have risen up on campuses across America.
They are seething, teeming cesspools of anti-Semitism. My God. Dude, control yourself, bro. I mean, really. Let's see. Let's keep going. Let's get through this real quick. I'm just showing the ridiculousness of it all. I mean, and we already know about Trump just getting out there, and Trump is like, please, this would be really, they're like, it'd be really bad if we release these pictures during your presidential campaign. I mean, they hit Biden up too, so they're both like, oh, hell no. You both are in the middle of a presidential campaign. We could probably swing the elections to somebody else if y'all don't play ball. You know what I'm saying? Donald Trump demands stop the protests now as hundreds of students arrested at U.S. campuses. Just stop it. Trump later tweeted that he has seen. Anyways, he said, stop the protest now. It comes as students across the U.S. have doubled down on the protest efforts on the lawns of college campuses, sparking a new wave of encampments across the country. Trump later tweeted to say there has been zero leadership from Biden. Okay. So he's just, I guess Trump isn't even watching the news. He's not even seeing like the waves of police just coming in and beating ass on every college campus. He's just missing that one. Okay. Because as far as I can tell, I think that's Biden that's doing that. So, okay. But again, nobody wants a picture released during a presidential campaign. Nobody wants the goods released. So they're like, oh, I'm on it, sir. Aye, Captain. October 7th would never have happened if I were president. Not even a small chance. Students and organizing groups are calling on their universities. Can I get rid of this? To issue a statement backing a ceasefire in Gaza. So at least the Mirror got that right. At least the Mirror told the truth about that one. They also request all schools divest from companies with ties to Israel. Well, and that sounds, well, I don't know, downright reasonable. As opposed to being a seething cesspool of anti-Semitism and hate. In a tweet posted on X last Wednesday, Columbia Students for Justice in Palestine said, as of 4 a.m. this morning, Columbia University students have occupied the center of campus, launching our Gaza Solidarity Encampment. We demand divestment and an end to Columbia's complicity in the genocide. Columbia called in the NYPD, who cleared the encampment and arrested over 100 students, including Isra Hirsi, the daughter of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who herself has been in the spotlight for anti-Semitism after a dozen Jewish lawmakers called her out for social media comments. Anyways, so Trump is jumping around. He's jumping around, doing his best. People are really afraid of I don't know. Whatever it was that got to certain folks in history over time. Anyways. Well, what else is going on? Oh, I told you, y'all, I've been saying that this crackdown looks a lot like the Occupy crackdown, and well, there's a reason for it. Because it's the same. This guy is in. This guy, can you see a more vicious, fake, dead-eyed smile than this dude right here? This picture is frightening. This is like smile for the camera. I'll kill you later. Breaking: Columbia U hired Cass Holloway weeks ago to contain growing pro-Palestinian protests. Turns out he led the massive police repression of the Occupy Wall Street movement in 2011 as New York City deputy mayor. Same strategy, same repression, same mastermind. Somebody says same failure. Yeah. So that might be why. Oh, let's look at this. Anti-Semitism bills. Okay. Anti-Semitism bills. That's what it is. Yes. Let's keep going. House passes anti-Semitism bill as Johnson highlights campus protests. The House voted on Wednesday to pass the bipartisan, reaching across the aisle in a bipartisan fashion, Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, a vote that comes amid and as pro-Palestinian protests have sprung up on colleges campuses across the country. Supporters of the legislation say it will help combat anti-Semitism on college campuses, but opponents say it overreaches and threatens to chill free speech. The bill would mandate that when the Department of Education enforces federal anti-discrimination laws, it uses a definition of anti-Semitism. The bill would mandate that when the Department of Education enforces federal anti-discrimination laws, it uses a definition of anti-Semitism put forward by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. I smell victimhood. I smell some good old narcissistic victimhood coming on. Critics of the bill argue that definition is overly expansive and could lead to censorship issues. Well, golly. The House vote was 320 to 91, with 70 Democrats and 21 Republicans voting against the bill. The GOP opposition largely came from the right flank of the conference. The bill would next need to be taken up by the Senate. It's critical that we crack down on anti-Semitic hate within our own country, said Representative Mike Lawler. Um, this is wild. I'm thankful for the bipartisan support of the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act and for the support from a wide range of Jewish organizations that are standing up, endorsing this legislation, and saying enough is enough. We have always been victims, and we will continue to remain victims, God damn it, even while we're stomping your face in. Don't forget it. Don't you forget it. In the House, Representatives well, so let's move on down. This is the way it's going to go down, though. You know, with people, right? People, stomping people out, boot to face, talking about he hurt my feelings. He attacked me. He made me feel uncomfortable, etc., etc., etc. When the person was just sitting there going, "Hey, don't punch me." Oh my God. Hey, don't punch me. Oh my God. He threatened my life. No, I wanted you to stop punching me because you were punching me in the face. Oh my God. Did you hear what he said to me? That was anti-Semitic. Oh my God. He threatened me. He threatened me with violence. No, I just said, stop punching me. That's like, that's psychopathic behavior. That is psychopathic, narcissistic behavior. Let's see. In a letter to representatives, the ACLU wrote, federal law already prohibits anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment. HR 690 is therefore not needed to protect against anti-Semitic discrimination. So even the ACLU is like, you might have gone too far with this one. Even the ACLU, who have been a little suspect of late, right? Let's see if they're going to talk about it or tell us what's in the bill. Why this campus turmoil story is so complex. Let's see. I guess they're not going to. Hold on. But the language in the bill is quite wild. We're going to move on from this in a second. Here's what the bill does. Mike Lawler, who put forward the bill, said we need to be able to define anti-Semitism in the way that we would like to. What about legitimate criticism of Israel? Okay, sorry. Hold on. prohibits discrimination on the basis of race. Civil Rights Act. Okay, while such titles do not cover discrimination. Discrimination against Jews may give rise to a violation of such title when the discrimination is based on race, color, national origin, which can include discrimination based on actual or perceived shared ancestry or ethnic characteristics. Hold on. Anti-Semitism is on the rise in the United States and is impacting Jewish students K through 12, schools, colleges, and universities. Okay. Okay, this might get a little long. Sorry, guys. I was hoping to get a little bit of a Cliff Note version of this, but I can't really find it. Anyways. So sorry. What's up, Rockfenders? What's going on? How you doing? Osama on Rockfin says foreign national influence is outlawed in the United States, except with one exception. The American Israel Political Action Committee, or AIPAC, that allows Zionist Israel money. There you go. And bribery to control, essentially, or own the treasonous U.S. Congress through intelligence agencies Mossad, CIA, and MI6. In addition to AIPAC, U.S. politicians are systematically coerced, bribed, blackmailed into unconditional support for Israel. That is absolutely what's going on. That's what I'm trying to lay down here. But y'all are helping me in that endeavor, and I appreciate you. Basically, they have turned up the threat machine on all the politicians. They're like, you get this under control, guys, or or something's going to go down, right? And they're like, yeah, sure. That's correct. Jay Gibbons, the biggest danger to Jews today is Netanyahu. It's fairly, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty right on. Is that anti-Semitic, Jay Gibbons? Let's check that for anti-Semitism. Just give me a second. I'll just run it through the old anti-Semitism fact checker over here on the right. Chat GBT anti-Semitism fact checker over here. Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. Anti-Semitic, Jay Gibbons. Anti-Semitic. God damn it. I'm trying to break all my equipment before I can do the show. Finish the show. Anyways. Guys, I gotta talk about this with people in my day because it's frustrating the ever living crap out of me. And then the rest of the day, I guess I'll just go on with whatever else I'm doing. Anyways, they're basically saying like the Bible's got to go. You can't question. You cannot question the story. Absolutely cannot question the story of World War II or why and what and where and how and who, because that is extra anti-Semitic. Extra. That's like an extra layer and all that kind of stuff. And, Aram says Jay Gibbons, Gregory Melnichuk are shadow banned on Top Chat. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, we are keeping it a little extra spicy today. Friends and neighbors, ladies and gentlemen, we are keeping it extra spicy today. All right. Well, all right. The police shot somebody in the face. LAPD shot a protester in the face. So that's nice. All right. We're going to cover a couple of different things before we get out of here. We've been talking about this particular Top Chat is for losers. Your comment about shadow banning was also shadow banned. Yeah, guys, if we all work together, we can get over the shadow ban hurdle. We can do it. Just keep on going, keep on watching, keep on chatting and commenting and being in there. It's very effective. They just, my shadow banning on Twitter is really, really extreme. Is absolutely extreme. It's wild. Like, I drop comments and like two people see my, there's like two people that like or retweet or comment on my any of my posts. It's the same people and I appreciate you guys. You know who you are. You're the two people that comment and see my posts, but I'm like, oh, that's it. And it's wild. Anyways. And it's just like YouTube. It's like if I get 2 or 3 followers, I'll get like 3, 4, or 5 followers, and then they'll all go away. And then I get 4 or 5 followers, and then they'll all go away. 5 followers. That's where they keep me at the same space for 5 years, the same number. Nope, you are not getting any followers, fucker. Anyways. Yes, Judy Truitt, I'm a follower and never see them because absolutely shadow banned to the maximum. They will not let me. I see other people being allowed to get followers. Like it's wild, but they're like, not you, Jack. Anyways. Oh, Poppy's taking a break. Poppy's taking a break, guys. She'll be back sometime. She's attending to life stuff, so. Anyways, let's read the story about. Well, I saw this from holding Biden accountable. Sorry, I couldn't find the really good synopsis of the anti-Semitism awareness. Not quick enough, anyways. Where are we? Biden hired a dairy lobbyist to run the USDA, and it turns out they've been covering up widespread bird flu presence in our milk for months, going so far as exempting some farms from testing and concealing the data that is collected. That's interesting. Some people say they're making it up. Other people say they're hiding it. Which one is true? I don't know. But let's look at this story. By the way, real quick, guys, if you enjoy the show coming to you for free every single day on the interwebs, Monday through Friday. Um, if you like this show, please consider supporting the show in all the ways. But financially would be great. I could always use your help. There are ways to do that. There's links and whatnot in the description box, and I thank you. And there, so many of you already support the show. To those that already support the show, I thank you. All right. Bird flu virus has been spreading among U.S. cows for months. RNA reveals genomic analysis suggests the outbreak probably began in December or January. But a shortage of data is hampering efforts to pin down the source. A strain of highly pathogenic avian influenza has silently been spreading among U.S. cattle for months, according to preliminary analysis of genomic data. The outbreak likely began when the virus jumped from an infected bird to a cow, probably around late last December or early January. This implies a protracted, undetected spread of the virus, suggesting that more cattle than currently reported across the United States and even in neighboring regions could have been infected with avian influenza. These conclusions are based on swift analysis following a dump of genomic data by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, headquartered in Washington, D.C. To scientists' dismay, the data do not include crucial information that would shed light on the outbreak's origins and evolution. Researchers also expressed concern that the genomic data wasn't released until almost 4 weeks after the outbreak was announced on March 25th. Yeah. The data also show occasional jumps back from infected cows to birds and cats. This is a multi-host outbreak. Scientists lack information about each sample's precise collection date and state where it was collected. Such gaps are very abnormal, quote unquote, Nelson says. The missing metadata make it harder to answer many questions, such as how the virus is transmitted between individual cows and between herds, and exactly when the virus jumped to cows. These insights could help to control further viral spread and protect workers on cattle farms who can least afford to be exposed. But let's go back to this. So in this post from Holding Biden Accountable, he's showing this article here, which is sorry, things are kind of running a little bit slow. My apologies. Why can't I? Sorry. Anyways, the fact that you can go into a supermarket and 30% to 40% of those samples test positive suggests there's more of the virus around than is currently being recognized. 30 to 40% of the samples in supermarkets test positive. Okay. Concerning, isn't it? Let's see. Also as the Another day, another example of how the climate is falling apart. Another few examples of how the climate is falling apart. Terrible flood due to extreme rains in Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil. This is from 2 days ago. Up to the rooftops. Oh, another flood. Just another flood. Another day, another 1,000-year flood. But Brazil's been getting smacked, as well as Saudi Arabia. And this is from France. Hailstorm. Isn't it like May? Is May a big time for hailstorms? Y'all think there's not going to be so how many people think election is going to happen versus election not happening? I bet we're going to get a pretty good consensus here. Y'all think there's going to be no election this November or an election? And if there is an election, who wins? Or a better question is, who loses? That would be us. It doesn't matter who wins, we lose. There's a hailstorm in France happening yesterday. Bella says we're all dead by November. Oh my God. Judy Truitt says RFK Jr. seems to be getting himself on states' ballots. Aram says there will be an election. Tim Bob says there's always an election. Biden will not be on the November ballot. Really? That would be, that would be pretty big news. Don't you think? That'd be like a, oh my God, kind of a moment. Do you think it's Kamala? You think Kamala is there, or do you think they squeeze in June? They squeeze Gavin Newsom on the ballot. What do you think? Gavin Newsom is roundly disliked, though. So is Kamala, though. That's the thing, is like they put people up that are just, nobody really likes them. Did anybody really like Biden? Nobody liked Biden. It was only the fact that he was running against Trump that made him, that made people try to figure out ways to make him likable. Well, he's just he's an old man. He's changed. He's different now, blah, blah, blah. But Biden is an unlikable son of a bitch. But, has always been an unlikable son of a bitch. But like Gavin is unlikable. Kamala is unlikable. I don't know how you put somebody else in there. You think it's going to be Michelle Obama? Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar. She's terrible. Michelle Obama, I think, would be, she doesn't want to do it. I think she's the most likable. If they put a Michelle Obama in, people would go like, oh, cool. Yeah, totally. I could totally vote for Michelle Obama. Totally. Like people would absolutely lose their shit, I think, if Michelle Obama ran. All right. Got a coffee donation. Let's see. Somebody bought me a few coffees on the Buy Me a Coffee. Doesn't tell me who. It says someone, so I'm sorry. It doesn't tell me who it is, but they said thanks for being here. Well, thank you. I don't know who bought this for me, but thank you. Thank you, whoever bought the coffees. I appreciate you. Right now, I'm not even going to read that comment, but that's funny. Ah. And lastly, on the climate front, before we get out of here, I mean, it's kind of a repeat of several articles. I'm sorry to be, somewhat blasé, but you can only read like 30 articles about how the Antarctic is totally acting different now. I mean, I'm sure it is. I'm not saying it isn't. It's just kind of in the background. It's like the background falling apart of the planet that soon will become foreground. It's foreground for some people, right? If the water's up to your rooftops in Brazil, climate change is definitely foreground for you. It's not the background. If you can't grow any food, if you're a farmer that can't grow crops because you've been flooded out 3 years in a row, definitely foreground. But it's there. We're in disbelief. Can you stop? We were in disbelief. Antarctica is behaving in a way we've never seen before. Can it recover? It's from a few weeks ago. Antarctic sea ice has been disappearing over the last several summers. Now climate scientists are wondering whether it will ever come back. Not if it keeps getting warmer. I don't think so. I mean, our local 5-year-old with a degree in meteorology says the ice is not coming back if it keeps getting warmer. So I don't think so. Anyways. As winter began in March hold on one second. Till recently, Antarctic sea ice fluctuated between relatively stable summer minimums and winter maximums, but after a record minimum in 2016, things began to shift. 2 record lows soon followed, including the smallest minimum ever in February 2023 at 1.91 million square kilometers. As winter began in March of that year, scientists hoped the ice would rebound. But what happened instead astonished them. Antarctic ice experienced 6 months of record lows. At winter's peak in July, the continent was missing a chunk of ice bigger than Western Europe. We all thought that the minimum was as bad as it was going to get in 2023, not 2070. Again, if it keeps getting warmer, which it is, then you're just going to have less ice. It's kind of how it works. We just keep on, the ice keeps going down, the temperatures keep going up. I think it's just kind of how it works. And again, I'm not saying that there aren't mechanisms that could be in place or could be put in place. We're going to do another reading of the Ministry for the Future soon, guys. Possibly this weekend. I'll let you guys know. I don't think I'm going to do a music show on Sunday, but I'll be back the next Sunday with a music show. But anyways, what I was saying was there's no real effort being made to counter anything that's happening. And as far as the natural world goes, I don't see, there's nothing indicating that something is going to turn around. So we're just going to keep getting warmer and things are going to keep progressing the way they're progressing. And that's just about it, as plainly as that can be put. So I don't know why you would be surprised, shocked, dismayed, aghast. I mean, I think you would probably just go, yeah, of course. I think the answer should be of course. Anyways. A profound regime shift has taken place in the Antarctic, and climate scientists are racing to understand what will come next. When you push, I hope they are racing. When you push any part of the climate system, it has a ripple effect. Hope they're racing just like politicians are racing for the ice cream. Has a ripple effect that is felt all over the world, not necessarily immediately, but many years down the line. So by pushing the system more and more and more, we're making those ripples bigger and bigger, and eventually we're all going to feel them. Anyways, I mean, I feel like this article is slightly childish, but so I'm not going to read anymore. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. And thank you for the conversation. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Fat Earth theory. The Fat Earth theory. The Earth is actually much larger, but it's been looking at itself in one of those thinning mirrors. The Earth has body dysmorphia. The Earth just likes a good compliment now and then. All right, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.